Hi, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your July 2023 full moon, supermoon reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps this channel be seen by the YouTube algorithm, getting it out to more people. And I couldn't do this without you guys, so thank you so very much. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. This cleanse and meditation will be accompanied by a loud sound. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see the energy we need to be mindful of during this Capricorn supermoon. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. This is the Three of Wands reversed. And it's interesting because, I can't remember what other sign, I think this was Gemini, but I'm not sure, had the Three of Wands reversed as their thing to be mindful of. And it's like you feel like the doors are closing and you feel like you had all these options, but they were taken away and they're not. But it's very interesting because both of you are ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is moving through this time period very, very quickly. And we're just taking in information so fast that we're thinking that things should be moving at lightning speed. And it's not going to be the case. Things are going to be moving a little bit more slowly than we wanted them to, okay? But the lasting impact of words and of connections is going to be very, very powerful here. So with the Three of Wands reverse, just know that certain doors are closing or certain things are being seen away. And it's like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm done. And you mean it. You mean it because the clarity that comes through with Mercury being your ruling planet and moving so fast is profound. So even though you're looking at things and being like, well, why did this door close? Or why was that said? Or why did that happen? It's all of a sudden, it's like because new doors had to open. And it's because we are processing things so quickly. So just be aware of that. Be aware. But also be aware of acting too quick. We can just be kind of reactionary, have that mercurial, everything's fine, and then everything's not kind of energy during this time. Because Mercury, when you deal with Mercury, that was, once upon a time in thermometers. Yeah, thermometers. It was poisonous. So here it's if we act too fast or we go too quickly, it's not going to be good for us. So just be aware of this. Let's see what spirit has to say. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. Here we have adventure reversed. We don't want an adventure. We've had enough of an adventure. It's kind of like I want things to be calm. I want things to be stable. I want things to be beautiful for me. Be aware of this. Be aware that others might want this grand adventure, this grand exploration. That's cool. Good for them. But we need things to be calmer and more settled. We want an adventure, but we also want things to be stabilized. So we might be warring with ourselves just a little bit. Oh, it'll be a grand adventure, but also we'll be putting it off because it's like, I don't really want that. I've had enough adventures. I've had enough, uncertainty. I want things to be a little bit boring, a little bit steady, quietly sipping tea and being comfortable with my present and with the idea of the future, because that would just be bliss. So let's see what spirit has to say through the tarot. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly, angels. A lot of healing. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Okay. All right. So it's really interesting is that the sun is in Cancer, right? And we have strong Cancer energy coming through here because we have the Chariot. The Chariot represents Cancer. The moon is in Capricorn. Capricorn is Cancer's sister sign. So we have the Knight of Cups here reversed. And we can be feeling like things aren't moving in the direction that we wanted them to, but also things are very overwhelming emotionally. It's like I'm being drowned in the emotions. This is a time where we need to choose healing. It will be very easy to be caught up in the emotions and the chaos and the I'll prove it to you type of thing. The moon is in 11 degrees, 18 minutes of Capricorn. And it's a supermoon, which means it's much closer to the earth, and this increases its power. This is bringing to light a lot of illusions and what's not for our highest good. So we're going to be calling out things, and we're going to be kind of calling out even things within ourselves, which can be a bit uncomfortable. The sun, again, in Cancer, the moon is in Capricorn. And this brings out our inner and outer selves, our inner and outer worlds. It brings them into sharp relief. They're sister signs, so they can bring out the best in each other, but they can also bring out the worst in each other. Like sisters, they can be your best friend and your worst enemy that knows all your, buttons to push. Capricorn is the outer world, and Capricorn is outer success. The moon is moving us towards the outer world and outer success, which is interesting because the moon moves us inward. This is a time of contemplation, inner illumination. Cancer is the sun is in Cancer, and this moves us to our inner world. It moves us to our inner selves, nurturing of ourselves and others. And the sun, which illuminates the outer world, usually has us, go out, get it, right? Leo is ruled by the sun, very gregarious, very out there, very, let's connect type of thing, is ruled by Cancer, the inner world. What does my heart want? What does my soul desire? Where do I need to be? Am I taking care of me? So it's a bit of a dichotomy here, which I see very clearly played out for you. You're feeling it, and this is the first time that dichotomy has come up in the reading. So you're feeling it more than almost any other sign is, because I don't know about every sign, but we haven't gotten there yet. But there's a power here. Now, the Capricorn full moon, super moon, has us longing for outward recognition and outward approval. We long to be seen by everybody else. And it's almost like if they don't approve of me, I'm not doing well. This leads us to self-doubt, and underestimating ourselves. Because we care so much what everybody else thinks, we feel ignored and we feel overlooked by the whole entire world. And here's the kicker. Everybody feels this way. Everybody wants an attaboy. Everybody wants to be seen and be told, you're doing such a great job. And because everybody feels like, oh, I'm being slighted, nobody's paying attention to me, they're not giving the praise to others. So it's a weird time right now, astrologically. It's a weird moon. It's an intense moon. It's a powerful moon, but it can be weird. This full moon wants us. It wants us to approve of ourselves first and foremost. It wants us to look at the desperate, connection with the outside world and saying, oh, look at me, love me, love me. And say, you know what? Forget this. I love me. I care about me. That's what matters. Capricorn strongly links us to manifestation and is strongly linked to manifestation, building towards the long term, building towards our future. What we're thinking about is what we're going to get. And if we're thinking, I'm not being seen, I'm not being recognized, I'm not being cared for, we can just feel completely overwhelmed. And we'll get more of that. But if we see, I'm manifesting, what I want in my life. I'm moving towards my prosperity and my success. I might doubt myself along the way, yes, because that's what this moon brings up, our self-doubt, our self-deprecation. Capricorn is ruled by the devil. It's the chains that bind us that are going to try and hold us back and say, no, no, know your place. You can't rise. But once we break free, my goodness, my goodness, are we, able to do so much. The sun is trine Saturn. All right. And this enhances the supermoon because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So we can be very logical about things. And we can be very logical in our own, deprivation of ourselves, our own sense of, I'm not doing enough. And we can list it. And we can be very right. Good job. Well done. But what we focus on, we will get. And if we're focusing on look at all my flaws. Let me list them for you, put them in numerical order of what's worse and what's best, type of thing. We're not helping ourselves. We might think we are. There's a sense almost as if I can get it organized, if I can see it closely enough, I'll be able to change it. But if you see it closely enough, it's just going to weigh you down. This is a time to say, okay, yeah, I have flaws. So does everybody. I'm moving towards me. I'm connecting with me. The moon is trine Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is a planet of greatness. Jupiter is the name of Zeus in the Roman pantheon. And this has us, again, building towards the long term, but it highlights our internal vision. What do we desire? What do we want? What makes us great? If we don't know, what brings us joy? It doesn't matter if people don't get it. Not everybody has to get us. Not everybody has to love us. We get us. We love us. We find those people who we connect with, and that's perfect. Not everybody has to be in the same boat. We wouldn't all fit anyway. And this then leads us to our faith, to what we deeply desire, to what we deeply want, to what is beautiful and loving and powerful to us. Now, Pluto is squared the nodal axis and will be until November. This is the north and the south lunar node. This dares us to break free of familiar patterns that aren't helping us and holding us back. They're trauma bonds, right? They're things that we've used as coping mechanisms, probably since we were very little. And it was like, okay, this worked then. It didn't really work. It just kind of made things bearable in order to move forward. And now Spirit's saying it's time to break those bonds, to dare to be like the Fool, which is reversed here. That's why I laughed when the cards, it's healing the fact that we're having trouble leaping forward. Okay? We want to go after what we want and stop caring so much what everybody else thinks. But it's a hold. It's like, oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. Pluto is the planet of rebirth. Okay? If we open ourselves to this energy, we will be reborn. The nodal axis is deeply linked to our souls and operates on a soul level. This is a rare time. It's not all the time that our souls move forward this way. And maybe that's for the best because it can be a chaotic time. It can be an intense time. But it's like, this is you. See it. During this full moon, we are experiencing huge waves of photonic healing light. This increases the spin of our cells towards healing. Okay, we find ourselves very drawn to healing arts during this time. I have linked in the description box below Spring Forest Qigong. If you want to go deeper into the astrology, I also have linked Pam Gregory's astrology here on YouTube. Our soul is weaving in this energy, and it's weaving in with our earthly bodies. And we're moving towards a heightened creativity and a heightened link to the divine. But we're questioning our healing. If you read about the tarot, people say this is the Holy Grail. Now, whatever mythos you believe in, whatever faith you have, the Holy Grail is still, seen as the cup that is supposed to have caught the blood of Christ, when he was being crucified. And so here, there is a sense of holding greatness, of holding a chalice that held a sacrifice of love, greater than we can understand. And so here, when we're moving forward, it's almost as if we're angry at the sacrifices of love that we have made. And that's fair. That's fair. That's human. That's so fair. And now we need to start healing. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a way of looking at things and, a way of saying, oh, well, this can be done and that can be done and it should be like this or it should be like that. That's great. Awesome. Good job. But I had a boss my first boss when I was a teenager. And he said to me, Dane, opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one, and they usually spew, waste. I have never forgotten that. First of all, I was surprised that he said it, and it tickled me to no end. But also, it's true. The older I have gotten, the more true it is. And if it works for somebody else, awesome, great for you. It might not work for me. And then we berate ourselves because, oh my gosh, they were supposed to solve our problems. Or they just think that if we tried hard enough, we could be them. We can't be. This is moving forward in healing love. This is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. Right? This Cancer sun, we're deeply connected to it. But if we have water sign energy in our chart, we need to find that balance. We need to find that balance with who we are, with what we want, how we're grounded on this earth, and how our hearts move us forward. The Two of Cups is healing beautiful love. There's a connection of us coming in. There's a sense of I'm healing. I'm moving forward in what I love, in what I desire, in what's right for me. There's a sense here of embrace the healing. Because this is a time that will heal us. Not completely, it's not going to be a magic time. It's not magic. This is the energy of the earth and the cosmos coming together, guiding us forward. It's a time of healing. We can see that with the photonic healing light. We can see that with the energy around us. We can see that even with the way that we're drawn forward or the things that we're questioning, the things that we're looking at. This is a time of healing. Let us connect with it. We're resisting it. We're resisting a healing, and yet it's right here. And it seems silly, it's a free healing. It's a free connection. It's free power that's coming forward from the universe to us. And we're like, I'm not sure if I'm ready for this, because it opens up a lot. It moves us forward in a way that can be completely overwhelming. And the Fool reversed, we're having a bit of fear, taking that jump, moving to that next step, going after our rainbow. It's actually what we want is here. And we're thinking, but what if I don't make it? What if it all falls apart? What if I don't get to have what it is that I dreamt of? And that's what keeps a lot of people stuck. Also, we can be dreaming things, and the language and the imagery that we have because of our limited world is not the same that Spirit has for us. So we could say, oh, I want this or I want that. And Spirit's like, great, that energy is exactly what you need. But the way you're going to manifest it into your life is quite different than you've seen others do it. Don't be afraid to go off the beaten path. Here, I always forget how to say his name, so if you can read that. But this myth in Welsh mythology is about a boy who was raised by his mother, and his mother kept all knights away from him because her husband was a knight and he died. All his brothers perished by being knights. And there's a sense here, not a sense. She was afraid that he would follow the same path. She saw it. And so she said, no. Everything about being a knight just kept from him. And one day he was playing out in the woods like little boys do. And knights stumbled into the forest and they got lost. Now they were forbidden to be in the forest. And they asked him, can you get us directions out of here? And he said, what are you? He was just absolutely enchanted from the moment of seeing them. He had no words. He didn't know what they were. And they told him what they were. They told him they were knights. He got them out of the forest. He went home. He took up arms and he said to his mother, I'm going to the king and I am going to be a knight. It was his calling, even though up until that moment, he had no words for what his soul longed for. Up until the moment you see it, you will have no words for what your soul longs for, Virgo. And that's okay. That's part of the beauty and the frustration of being in this earthly plane. Here, we feel overwhelmed, as if we can chase and chase and chase and never get there, because we do not have words yet for what Spirit has put us on this earth for. Be aware of this. But it leads us to prosperity and success. This is a time where it's like, you know what? I have to connect with me. This is through meditation. This is through calming it down. This is through centering in our inner self. Even though we want the chatter of the outside world, oh my gosh, do we want that so much? We want the praise of the outside world, the chatter of the outside world, somebody else to show us the path. And Spirit's like, I'm waiting for you. This is celebration, happiness, success, new house, new opportunities, new beauty, moving us forward. And Spirit's like, hey, don't be afraid to be the fool. Don't be afraid for others to laugh at you, because opinions are like assholes. And if you listen to everybody's opinion and you say your word counts more than my soul, you've signed away your happiness. You signed away your happiness. This is success and prosperity in a place you least expected. The Chariot. Take the fears and the emotions that are all over the place. Embrace the sun. You're going to do a lot better in the sun right now, Virgo, than you are going to be doing in the moonlight. Rein in the emotions. Pull them in and go for it. This is looking at the chaos and saying, I'm going after what I need, what I want, and who I am. Period, and stop. Mamanan is the god of the sea. We're going to see here that the waters, the emotions, they're everything. And they're going to lead us forward in a profound and distinctive way. The Emperor, Aries energy, right? This is Mars energy. We no longer want to fight. We have embraced this energy long enough, especially if you have Mars in your chart or you're born. Why would you be born on the cusp of Mars? I don't know. Okay. But there's something here where, like, if the person that you're dealing with is Mars, okay, or I'm just hearing born on the cusp with Mars, and I don't know what that means because you wouldn't be, Virgo, born on the cusp of Mars. Well, you would be. If this is your moon or your ascendant, you could be. There is a sense here of I'm done with being the warrior. I'm done with this endless, endless fighting. Like, I'll prove it, I'll prove it, I'll prove it. Now it's time to step back and say, I already know. I know what I want, I know what I need, I know where I'm headed. And embrace our passion and embrace what we desire because it moves us. We have an awakening of the soul. We can also be out of balance with our sacred masculine self. That sense of, I know what I want and I'm going after it. Fiercely, declaring what we want in our lives and not being afraid and not backing down. It's not being a bully about it. It's just saying this is my strength. I'm seeing things kind of like in a 3D map. I'm looking at things and being like, oh, that's how I move forward. Oh, that's what I need to do. Oh, that's where I need to go. And it's like, oh, okay, I got it. You'll get so much if you quiet. If you quiet and center yourself. The sleepers are the best knights of King Arthur, put to sleep when he got wounded, right? When he was put to sleep. And when this horn is blown, they will awaken with Arthur, with King Arthur, to rule, not to rule, to save Wales, to be that hero energy. We have a hero within us awaiting to awaken, rising, connecting, letting the brilliance shine forward. That's going to be so important for us. The sense of, I am awakening to my power, to what I deeply want, and to what I deeply need. We're hearing a call. And we could be like, how do I answer this? We could be so overwhelmed because the healing is coming forward and we're afraid. And that's cool. I mean, that's human, that's normal. But here, we have to let our hearts and we have to let the healing energy become a part of us. It moves us to the moon. So let's see what the moon has to say for herself. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Ooh, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Your commitment is being tested. As you move forward, as you feel overwhelmed by the world and its ways and, many strange people we meet, that poem that is like, the world is strange. And then our faith, which is being brought forward by this time, by the moon trine Jupiter, right? Our faith is coming forward and we're like, well, what is our faith? What do I believe in? What do I connect to? Our commitment is being tested. Our faith is being tested. We can feel it. Our faith is being tested. And the question is like, how do I move forward? And it brings us to a resilience, right? To the sense of, I question surrendering to the divine. The healing comes if I surrender to the divine. And what we're going to see is that however the divine manifests itself in our lives, however we see it, however we understand it, it doesn't really matter, how we say it, if it's traditional, faith, or if it's not divine connection or not. It doesn't matter. Or if it's ancient traditions, it doesn't matter. We are going to find that our resistance is more powerful to being squashed down by the world's emotions if we have something bigger that we believe in, a bigger force that we are guided by, like our angels and our spirit guides. Boundaries here, we need to have clear boundaries as we take our leap of faith and look at the bigger picture of what we want. Clear boundaries is going to be super important. Taking aim and looking at what we deeply desire. This is a time to surrender. to surrender because we are very close to achieving our goals. Surrender to the greater powers in the cosmos, the greater powers that guide us, that lead us to celebration, connection, prosperity, success. We're not feeling wise, and that's okay. We don't have to feel wise. And we're questioning if prosperity lies ahead. We have to rein in our world. This Cancer time period, for the sun, Cancer time period is June 21st to July 22nd. It has us questioning a lot. We're not necessarily feeling wise, even though Cancer has us connecting with our emotions. And we're wondering if prosperity lies ahead. It's all been so much. And that's okay to question. We tend to think it's wrong to question. But if we rein in our emotions, if we say, you know what, I see the chaos, and I see where the chaos has been, I rein it in, and I connect with me, it moves us to patience. It moves us to having patience with ourselves and knowing that the personal issue reaches resolution. We don't have to rule, but we do have to heal. And we do have to connect with the root of ourselves. And stepping into our masculine energy does not mean that we have to be a bully. A lot of times we think of masculine energy, and especially if we've had a bad experience with masculine energy, like a tyrannical father, like with feminine energy. If we've had a tyrannical mother, we can feel like, oh, I don't want to step into that space. I don't want to be that person. And that's cool. That's totally understandable. Be patient with yourself as you're connecting with your root energy. But this is also, the central energy of existence, the feminine, the masculine, and everything in between. A personal issue reaches resolution. We're finding our balance. And it brings us to understanding that the ugly is so much easier to see and hold on to this world. And we've been holding on to the ugly too much. And the ugly is the darkness, the malevolence, the disgusting, the things that we get repulsed by. It's kind of like when you listen to the news, it's all bad news, and you're like, my gosh, that's the ugly of the world. It's not the joyful, it's not the beauty. We don't go seeking out good news. And if you do, bravo for you. Seriously, if you say, you know what, I'm not being pulled down. It's so easy to be pulled down, and then it's a spiral. It's time to start filling your life with beauty. It's time for a healing. And we're again, Spirit is saying, like, we're kind of pushing that healing away. Why? Why? What are we afraid? What is the hero that is awakening in us that we're afraid of, that we're overwhelmed by? Our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the 9 of Wands. We're so tired of fighting. It's been one endless fight after another. It's like, this is great, but I'm tired and I'm battered and I'm done. Be mindful about this. Be mindful, because we can be just a little bit too scrappy, right? We can be a little bit too like, oh, we're going to fight, right? You want to fight? I'll give you a fight. And that's not going to help us. Who is that going to help? It's exhausting. We're realizing that. It moves us, but that's going to be our response. Spirit's like, make sure they know. Our response first is like, you want to fight? I'll fight. It's like, no, I don't. I don't want this anymore. I'm done. I'm done with the fighting, and I'm done with the proving of myself and seeking everybody else's approval. Seeking other people. It could just be one person. It's like one person's attaboy. It's like, I don't need your approval. I have my life. And it moves us to our subconscious spirit message. Here, it's devoted. It's reversed. What are we devoted to? What do we desire? What do we want? What guides us forward in our lives? And we're kind of questioning that. What am I devoted to? Our subconscious tarot message is the 4 of Swords reversed. Releasing a lot of worries that we have while we sleep. Overthinking, overanalyzing. If you have a sleep monitor, like one of those watches or rings or whatever, or even the apps that just monitor your breathing and sleeping, you'll find that they'll say like, oh wow, restless night sleep. And you'll be like, well, how do you get a good night one, right? It's kind of like, oh, always restless night sleep. Thank you very much. How do you get a good night's sleep? And this is going to be a time, Virgo, where we release the worry. We're starting to awaken. And it's not just releasing the worry, it's releasing overthinking. It's saying, you know what? No, I'm done. I know my path. Because a part of us knows it. Or I know what I want in my life. I know the beauty that guides me forward. And I'm going to follow the beautiful instead of the ugly. And we can find that we feel like we're free falling for a little bit. And that's okay. Because we're going to be moving forward in a huge way for us. And it moves us to our subconscious Luna message, which is self-love. and the energy is gaining momentum. The energy within us is gaining momentum. Have it guided towards self-love. Embrace yourself. And let your self-love shine. It's not ego. It's not, I'll prove it. It's not like we so often think when we are embracing self-love that it's arrogance, right? Or we can be afraid to embrace self-love because, self-praise stinks type of thing. It's not arrogance. It is I genuinely love me. And I heard this saying, it was not that you only get one life. You only get one death. Every day you wake up, you get to choose to be happy. You get to choose to be brilliant. Now, I'm not talking about people, even in horrific situations, but I mean, that's harder and that's different and complex. But for the grace of us who aren't in those horrifying situations, and even then, choose love. Choose to love you in the midst of others wanting to pour hatred and anger and evil over you. And I don't use evil in a light way, especially if you're in a horrific situation. There are some people who just get their kicks out of snubbing out the light in other people, breaking them. They'll do it with animals, they'll do it with people. There's just some malevolence to some. This is choosing love. This is choosing to sit there and say, I love me. And I'm worth it. And I'm not going to be bullied by this world anymore. That can almost make me tear up. Actually, it did make me tear up. The energy is gaining momentum. Love yourself. All right, Virgo. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power, intensity, and beauty of this supermoon and of ourselves. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo. May blessings and prosperity always be with you. I love you all. God bless, and have a wonderful supermoon. Bye.